opinion is this is a symptom. These events are symptoms. Man, why? It's because, I mean, one of the reasons I keep talking about parenting is because of a lacking in young adults and kids' ability to cope with pressure, to cope with stress, to deal with anxiety and avoid anxiety. Because if you don't have coping skills, you're going to be anxious a lot. You're going to have anxiety problems. And these are lessons and disciplines that are supposed to be taught at a very young age. In my opinion, it's not. These things are missed. How many times you hear parents who are well-to-do now are doing much better now than their parents were when they were kids? They give the kids everything, saying that they don't want them to live the same life. Well, you can go to an extreme on that. That's one. I mean, that's just one of the issues that I see that exist, where the mindset probably could be improved a little bit in order for the child to have a more complete set of lessons learned to make them adults that can deal better with the realities of life. So that's one aspect. And then you got, of course, the complete opposite, where you have kids growing up in extreme poverty, and instead of excess, then there's lack. And you have parents who neglect. Some having to work more, and then you just have parents who might neglect because they are distracted by doing other things, you know. So now you have what? You have entertainment, you have games, you have the most influential aspect of society right now, hip hop. And these things, if they are the primary influence in the child's life, you ask yourself what messages are being constantly, frequently, consistently given to the kids and adults, whoever's going to listen to it over and over, you know, all the time. What message is being sent to them? So if you're talking about impressionable minds of teens and tweens, and they continue to grow up with that voice in their ear and lack of discipline and intentional training in the home by parents, then okay, they're getting told to not give about the system or anything. Actually, if you listen, pay attention to the content. If you think I'm lying, if you think I'm exaggerating, you got to pay attention. You can't, if you look at this one thing, yeah, you can, it's plausible deniability of saying that it can't have that effect on people. But you look at the bigger picture, you have that in their ear, you have a lacking of nurturing, a lacking of intentionality in what's being taught. So you're not taught delayed gratification, you're not taught discipline, you're not taught respect for other people's property, you're not taught respect for human life, you're not taught these things, you're not taught respect for authority. And so you don't get that, and then you have the primary influence saying you shouldn't give up, it's cool to not give up, you know what I mean? And the disrespect of women, and if you don't give up, then how you gonna care about other people's property and getting money by whatever means necessary? You gotta pay attention to these messages that are being delivered, and there is not a strong enough force to oppose those messages. There's not a strong enough influence in the home to negate those messages. So those messages has a dominant force in a developing mind, and as a person goes on making poor choices based on what's being fed to them, these people are telling them doing drugs is cool. You know what I'm saying? This is what they're listening to. And so you have poor choices being made at different crossroads. And of course, if you get caught up, not that I'm perfect or have been perfect, or everybody that's not suffering has been perfect, it ain't that. But if you just make poor choices in the back of your mind, all of this rhetoric has been fed to you, then the poor choices mess around and have the combination of causing you a lot of disadvantages, a lot of grief, a lot of misfortune, and you lack the ability to cope and deal with it. There you go. You're talking about ingredients for disaster. Why is it so difficult for y'all to see all of this? And you keep saying, why? I don't understand why. I don't understand why it's so hard to see. And so this will continue to happen. And if y'all keep on being blind and not doing something about making it more normal and popular and I guess cool for parents to get training so they can be intentional about what they teach their kids. If y'all don't do something about that, might be significant enough, but you also need training in impoverished neighborhoods. So, matter of fact, it would be beautiful if people who receive welfare, not discriminating against welfare or saying all people who are receiving welfare is bad or incompetent or lacking in skills to be a parent. I'm not saying that, but think about where a lot of people and the people that's in that situation to come from, if it's generational, and if they haven't had the type of environment that they grew up in, which will provide them the type of training to pass on to their kids, then that's missing. So if in those neighborhoods you implement a system by which that training is given, you have filled the void. So a condition for receiving welfare should, in my opinion, include that training and be mandatory. That way you cover everything. And you can, I mean, the training would be beneficial because you can teach some of the skills that is relevant for our current times. You take the very best home, and if you mess around and don't have an adult that's keeping up with how technology and everything has evolved, then you're lacking in some way. I mean, you got kids going to college, majoring in classes, but they leave out only with the ability to use their minds and apply it in a traditional way. That's not going to work today. So the kids are not getting the entrepreneurship, they're not keeping up with technology, they're not having the level of creativity that they need in order to apply what they learned in a way so that it is outside the box and not just traditional. That's why you have kids going to school for 4 years saying that I go to school for nothing. You see what I'm saying? So, listen. I'm done. I just hope, hey, I figured I will record this and put this out there so that at least the adults and parents who are listening and find any value in what I'm saying, you know, sometimes you can hear something that is presented to you from someone outside that will trigger thoughts in your mind or flip a light bulb, and it makes sense, and it's all that you need in order to act in some way. Whether it's at the level of doing something different in a home, or it's at the level of, you know, I mean, it might be somebody in government or whatever, and it's at the, you're able to do something at the level to introduce, I don't know, bills, legislation, ideas to someone in a leadership or decision-making position that could be the seed for some type of change in the system based on the recognition of how to improve conditions as opposed to benefiting political parties and all that ridiculousness. I'm just hoping somebody hears this message at some point that is able to bring about some positive changes so that our communities can have the level of improvement and progress that it should have and that it needs. Thank y'all for watching. Have a great day. get so I can't even listen to the radio anymore, man. Because it's kind of irritating to me that some of the questions that gets asked, some of the answers that are given,